Okay, let's start with the Olympic class, since that's what any real, well, not necessarily any real Star Trek fan, but somebody who's seen Star Trek might recognize already. One thing that's different about these are they're rounded. Like, as you can see right with the globe, I guess you want to call it, they don't have the standard saucer. It's more reminiscent of, and I always pronounce this wrong, I want to say like the Daedalus class? Daedalus? I honestly don't know, I always pronounce it wrong. But you can see the game gave it several weapons hardpoints since you don't have the standard saucer to put them on. So you can see just from this angle right here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then you got the phaser arrays right here. And you've got the navigational deflector. I'm guessing the bridge is up here, like always on Starfleet ships. Secondary, I don't know. This is more reminiscent of like Voyager's secondary deflector, and this seems more like the primary. I don't know. But then in the back, you've got one thing I never noticed before on this is because I actually did not really fly these whenever I was playing as my science character. Is that I use the nebula? It's the cutout right here. It just doesn't flow straight into it. Kind of seems like it's missing some. The nacelles seem rather small for the overall body, and they're attached really far forward. But I'm not quite sure if it works for it or not. Of course, you got another cluster of weapons hardpoints. You got the impulse drive right there, there, and there. And I don't see a discernible shuttle bay on this model. Of course, it only appeared in like one episode, so they might not have decided to do that. I always wonder what, I think those are like sensor palettes or something. I always wonder what those are, the off-colored spots. But I mean, overall, it's a decent design, although it does feel a little weird that the light curves with the hull. I just noticed that. It kind of curves with the hull, and I don't think light does that. But otherwise, it's a decent design. Let's move on to the Hope class. It looks more like a yo-yo if you look at the front. And see what I mean? This right here, there's no dead space. I mean, there's dead space here. Not here. It's just all one streamline, but it does look like it got compacted. Then you got the weapons hardpoints. I'm sure you can see all of them, all those little red dots. Then both the deflectors. And then I feel like the nacelles work better for the Hope than the Olympics do. For the Olympic. They're attached to, I want to say a little further back? I don't know, maybe attached about the same point. Then you honestly, I just like the look of right here. It looks like it's something that, whoops, wrong button. Looks like it's the phaser arrays on Deep Space Nine. They just pop out of the side. But I honestly don't see, unless right there are the phasers. But that would leave, like, basically the whole front of the ship. That's not, I mean, you can go straight forward and there's, like, no room to arc in front of it. So a small craft right here would be in a blind spot. Then you've got another couple of arrays back here. I like the sleekness of this design, even if it is an odd one for Starfleet. You got the impulse drive. Thought I saw another one, I guess not. You got the more weapons hardpoints. Again, no discernible shuttle bay, unless that's what that's supposed to be. This is a bit wider. Kind of juts out. Go back to the Olympic, where it's this is like all one narrow shape, with the exception of that. The Olympic, just from this view, it does kind of look like it tapers. But this one, it just looks more boxy, like utilitarian. I think most of these three sets usually have a blocky looking one, and this is it for the, what are these? I think they're the research science vessels. So, I mean, yeah, it doesn't have any dead space. It looks like it's built well. I mean, kind of rugged. I can see this one going into like more hazardous research areas. I don't know. And finally, we've got the Olympic, which the first thing you may notice is it has a dome around it that's, from what I understand, a force field that pulsates. So you got the force field dome, and I don't know what I guess it's to study gases. I don't know what happens if you lose power. I'm guessing they vent into space. This one somewhat takes care of the forward targeting arc, because if the beam can go from right there, it might work. But what was the Olympic? The Olympic takes care of its forward arc best, and its side, and not necessarily the bottom, because this can't get like right here. I imagine getting right in here would be difficult. Right here is like impossible to hit. The Hope can basically hit, well, anything that's not like straight out in front of or behind its arrays. I feel like the Horizon has the best array placement, because you got 2 more right here. So really, your blind spots are maybe right in here. Problem with these ships, there's another array right there. They don't tend to think of blind spots whenever they design the models, but I mean, heck, I think some modern like destroyers and such, they've got blind spots, if you want to call them that. But I don't know if I call this empty space, but I do find it interesting how it connects, because you get that shape right there, kind of blocky. But this one's more organic, although you do have that dead space that flows a little better, though. It's still a little bit of a cutout. And then you got the impulse, hard points. Escape pods on the bottom. That's not something you see very often, if I recall right. You don't like see escape pods on the bottom of the secondary hull. This one has it. This one's got it. Actually, come to think of it, looking at it now, the Horizon's the only one with top-mounted escape pods. Interesting. See, that's one of the things I notice whenever I take a look at it in more detail like this. Just pointing different things out, both to myself and to my viewers. It seems like you got a slight trench right in there. I mean, I don't know why they put these gaps in. Construction material, maybe, but I mean, like the Hope makes the great use of its space. Like, there's not really any dead space. There's not really any gaps. The Olympic has the biggest dead spaces, followed by the Horizon. But I kind of the Horizon has, I want to say, narrower nacelles. I want to say front. Yep. Okay. See here, the Olympic. The Hope definitely has thick ones. The Horizon, there's just not much to look at on the nacelles. They're attached to the furthest back, I want to say, and they don't actually go. Let's see here, top view. Cool. Let's see. Looking at the 3, they go the furthest forward in relation to the saucer or dome or globe or whatever you want to call it. As it goes, I want to say about a quarter of the way forward. The ones on the Hope barely touch it. Then the ones on the Olympic barely touch it as well. So yeah, go the furthest forward. Let's see here. And then let's see, in relation to the end of the ship, they all seem to taper off at about the same point. Sorry that I'm jumping around ships here. But anyway, so those are the 3 science vessels at Tier 3. Stay tuned to the end, and you can see how to vote for the next set. Thanks for watching.